In any successful project, you've really got two kinds of thinkers: the people who see the destination and the people who actually build the road to get there. Today, we're going to dive into strategic versus operational thinking, and we're going to help you figure out which one you are. Trust me, knowing the answer could be a total game changer for your career. So let's just jump right in with a quick question. A problem hits you at work. What's your gut reaction? Do you immediately zoom out and ask, wait, why is this happening? What's the big picture here? Or do you zoom in, laser focused on, okay, how do we fix this right now? That first instinct, that's a huge clue to your natural thinking style. Because here's the thing, every single thriving company, every successful project absolutely needs both of these people. It needs the visionary who points to a spot on the horizon and says, we're going there. And it needs the doer who looks at the ground and says, okay, here's how we build the road. These aren't just job titles, they are two ends of a critical spectrum. All right, so let's start with that first archetype, the strategic thinker. I want you to think of them as the architect of the future, the person who's drawing up the blueprints for something that might not even exist for years. At its heart, strategic thinking is all about that ability to see the whole forest, not just the individual trees. It's about connecting dots that nobody else sees, spotting trends before they happen, and positioning your team to win down the line. It's about playing chess, not checkers. So what makes these people tick? Well, strategic thinkers are actually really comfortable living in a world of what-ifs. They have this intense curiosity, they see how whole systems fit together, and they're willing to take a calculated risk if the payoff could be huge. They're the ones constantly asking, what's our industry going to look like in 5 years? This quote from Harvard Business Review just nails it, doesn't it? A strategic thinker doesn't just come up with an idea, they actively challenge the way things are done, they paint this incredibly vivid picture of the future, and, this is the key part, they inspire other people to want to build it with them. Okay, now let's flip the coin and talk about the operational thinker. If the strategist is the architect with the grand blueprint, the operational thinker is the master builder, the one who makes sure that foundation is rock solid and the whole thing actually gets built perfectly. Operational thinking really is the art of making things happen. It's about taking that big, grand vision and breaking it down into concrete, manageable steps, processes, and deadlines. These are the folks who ask, how can we do this better, faster, or cheaper? They literally bring order to chaos. Yeah, the focus here is all about the tangible. Operational thinkers thrive on clarity. They live for a good plan. They are absolute masters of logistics and scheduling, creating the systems that turn a big, fuzzy strategy into a daily reality. They're the reason the wheels don't just turn, they turn smoothly and efficiently. And you should never, ever underestimate the power of great operations. I mean, check this out. A McKinsey study found that leaders with strong operational skills can boost their team's productivity by a whopping 25%. That is not a small number, folks. That's a massive competitive advantage, and it's all driven by masterful execution. And this table just lays it all out crystal clear. While the strategist is thinking in terms of years, the operator is thinking in hours and weeks. One is all about the big picture, the other is a master of the details. And it's not about which one is better, right? A brilliant strategy with terrible execution is just a daydream. And perfect execution of a bad strategy, well, that just gets you nowhere fast. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's try and figure out where your natural instincts lie. I'm going to throw a few quick scenarios at you, and I want you to be really honest with yourself about what your first move would be. Ready? Here we go, first one. Imagine you just started at a new company, and it's painfully obvious that the marketing is just failing. What's your immediate impulse? What's the very first problem you feel compelled to solve? So, are you option A, where your mind immediately starts drafting a massive 12-month repositioning strategy to overhaul the entire brand? Or are you option B, where you just feel this urgent need to dive in, stop the bleeding, and fix the campaigns that are broken right now? Go with your gut. All right, scenario number 2. Let's switch it up. Picture yourself managing a school. Forget about the day-to-day stress for a minute. What kind of task gets you genuinely fired up and excited to come to work? Is it A, brainstorming on a whiteboard, designing a completely new, innovative learning model from the ground up? Or is it B, creating and managing the systems that make sure every teacher is hitting their performance targets and the school is running like a well-oiled machine? Last one. You're running a fast-growing health startup. You've got limited time, limited resources. Where do you instinctively want to focus your energy to make the biggest possible impact?
Are you drawn to option A, making those big picture moves, like securing major partnerships to scale across the country? Or does your focus immediately go to option B, perfecting the details, refining the client onboarding process so that every single interaction is absolutely flawless?
So, how'd you do? If you found yourself picking A most of the time, you've got a strong strategic leaning. If you were all about the B answers, your default mode is probably operational. And what if it was a mix? Well, congratulations. You're a hybrid thinker, which is a rare and incredibly valuable asset on any team.
But listen, here's the most important point of all. Your default style is not a life sentence. These are muscles, not fixed personality traits. You can absolutely train your less dominant side to become a more versatile and, honestly, a more effective leader. So let's talk about how.
If you're an operational thinker and you want to grow more strategically, you've got to start immersing yourself in the why. Get yourself invited to those big picture quarterly planning meetings. Make it a habit to read industry trend reports. And the simplest thing of all, just start asking your boss the why behind the daily tasks you're given.
And if you're a strategic thinker, it's time to get your hands dirty. Go shadow an operations lead for a week and see what their world is really like. Take on a small, contained project and see it through from the very beginning to the very end. Or volunteer for the simple act of documenting a team process. It's an incredible lesson in detail-oriented thinking.
So, why does any of this matter? Because look, this kind of self-awareness is a career superpower. It helps you pick roles where you're naturally going to shine. It helps you build amazing teams with people who complement your skills. You solve problems better. And maybe, most importantly, you can walk into any room and communicate your unique value with total confidence. So we'll end with this thought. You now have a much better idea of your natural approach. Whether you're the architect, the master builder, or a bit of both. The only real question left is, how are you going to use that knowledge to make your next big move?